Well, hello, YouTube Power Hour Squad. Erika here for a brand new interview for you. So, for this episode of the podcast, I am interviewing Trina Albus. Now, Trina is actually one of my bootcamp students. This is her second time on the podcast, and the first time I interviewed her because she's the owner of Magenta Agency, an agency that connects influencers with brands. But she also, I guess, decided to start a YouTube channel, and she joined my bootcamp about a year after we first met. And when she joined the bootcamp, she was struggling with her channel at 5,000 subscribers. Now she has 70,000 subscribers. And in this interview, she talks about how the bootcamp helped her figure out YouTube and essentially what happened for her channel to take off.
You know, my channel just really took off during the bootcamp. And I think it's just because I really put the intention into it and I really understood what I was doing and why I was doing it. And I knew, I felt really confident. You gave me confidence and the tools to make it happen. I'm going to keep it up, and I'm at 70K, and it's really exciting to just see the growth.
So I got a lot of requests from you guys to feature my boot campers, and I'm going to be doing more of that this season. And so I'm so excited to have Trina on. I know you're going to really enjoy this interview. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Erika Vieira. I am a YouTube strategist and coach, having helped over 400 women behind the scenes grow their YouTube channels. And on this podcast, with my guests, pull back the curtain to reveal what it's really like to be successful on YouTube, to hopefully inspire you to start your own channel or help you with the channel that you already have. So if you're new here and that sounds like your jam, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because I have new interviews every single week. Enjoy this interview. Mwah. Well, hello, Trina. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Erika. It's so nice to see you.
Yes, this is your second time on the podcast.
That's right. It was a long time ago when I came on the podcast. I had such a great time.
Yes. And so I know that's how we initially met. And then I don't know how long after that. I think it was like a year and a half after that is when you enrolled in the boot camp, which I was so excited when you enrolled in the boot camp. And then you went through the boot camp, and then now you are here on my podcast again because of the incredible success that you've had on your channel since going through the boot camp.
Yes, I'm so glad that I decided to take the course. And really for me, it was hard for me to make the time. That was really what it came down to, is I needed to make the time. I needed to commit to my channel, and I needed a roadmap. And you giving me that structure is really what I needed. So
good. So why don't you share with our audience, if they're not familiar with you, kind of your journey on YouTube, like what inspired you to get onto YouTube in the first place?
Absolutely. So I started my YouTube channel 5 years ago when I turned 40, because I run an agency called Magenta. It's a social marketing agency, and I was in the Ipsy office a lot, just because we always work with beauty brands and we work with influencers. So they have this wonderful studio there, and they were always, telling me you should come take advantage of the studio and make some videos. And I was always reluctant because I felt like it wasn't the place for me. I felt too old, and then I turned 40, and I said, this could be a really good opportunity to have a unique voice on a platform that's a little underrepresented. I know that there are some creators that are in the 40s and 50s range, but not many. So that's really why I started it, is because I wanted to have that unique voice. And also I really wanted to learn more about what it takes to create content. We are working with a lot of influencers. Influencer marketing is a huge piece of marketing in the beauty space. And I wanted to understand, when we're partnering with an influencer, asking them to make a YouTube video, what goes into that? And it really helped me to understand how difficult and how challenging and how time consuming it is. And I had a much larger respect for the content creator community.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And that's so smart too, for you having this agency where you basically connect influencers with brands. But now you're like, you know what? Okay, I'll dig in, I'll do YouTube and just almost become an influencer in a way.
And that was not my intention. I really wanted to learn more about it. And what I found was that I loved creating content. It opened up a creative outlet for me that I had never explored before. And I still to this day, I was up till 1 a.m. last night editing footage that I had just shot. And I have to get myself to shut down and like go to sleep because I really, really love it. And, my channel, because I'm over 40, it was content that was for women over 40 about skincare. It started out as skincare. But I think that my niche was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, why don't I create a video about highlighter? Maybe I'll create a video about crystals. I was just making whatever I felt like I wanted. And your bootcamp really taught me that I need to come up with a niche and know who my audience is. And like, that's really when it started to take off. And it started to take off so much so that now, 5 years later, I make a video every single week, and it's become highly competitive with my agency, where I spend about half my time on my channel and doing content creation because it's a big revenue driver for me, which I never would have expected.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit later because I think that's amazing. So prior to starting the boot camp, do you remember how many subscribers you had when you started?
Yeah, I had around like 5,000 subscribers, and I was stuck, and I wasn't growing, and I wasn't putting out content consistently, and I had lost the excitement. I had lost, the ambition. I really felt lost, and I was like, I know Erika's the best. I think she can help me really regain focus and really get inspired again to create content.
I remember you saying that you just felt that you felt stuck. And so, how was that for you when you were kind of creating content, I guess, prior to the boot camp? And were you creating content and just not seeing it go anywhere?
Well, I was still creating content because I love to do it, but I would create like a hair video, and then I would put it out there and it would fail because the algorithm's like, why are you doing a hair video? This has nothing to do with what your audience is expecting. And I didn't understand that. I just thought that I could do like any beauty related content and anybody would love it. And that's not the case, and I didn't really have that voice. Like I didn't know who I was talking to, and now that I have this community that I've created, and I have actually started a private Facebook group where I've got over 3,000, mostly women, some men, in there, all about beauty devices. And that's where I really get to talk to my community and hear their feedback. So when I'm making my videos now, I'm talking to them, and I can call them up by name. And it's like, it's a community that I've built. And before I was just like, I'm going to do a video on this new concealer I got, and it didn't connect with anyone. It didn't make any sense. I kept doing it. And I'm like, well, why am I doing this? No one's seeing it. And it's depressing, like you put so much effort. As content creators know, you put in so much effort, pre-production and then production and post-production, and then getting the video out there, and you only get like a few hundred views. It's really, I was like, I know that I can create great content. I don't know what I'm missing here. And that's really where I was at that time.
Yeah. And so tell me, what was it like for you going through the boot camp?
Going through the boot camp, like I said before, was really great because it gave me a lot of structure and it gave me a lot of training, and it really just forced me to learn about metrics, learn about the algorithm, and hear from other creators that were in the boot camp with me, hearing about their struggles and their successes, and just having access to you, Erika, to look at some of our content and maybe give us some pointers about how should you be doing your title, how should you be doing your tags, just going through the whole process. But beyond the analytics, I think the beginning part of the boot camp was really self-exploration, which I hadn't done. And it was a really rewarding experience to learn about yourself, and you're kind of opening up yourself and journaling. And when you're going through that process, you start to learn more about like what's motivating you to create content. And you start to just like see the vision for your channel blossom. Like that's what I did. I saw the vision blossom, and I was able to leverage all of that self-exploration along with powerful analytics and the background that you have, that you are more well-versed in that area than I was because I wasn't looking at it. So able to pair those together really got me really motivated. And I loved that it was every week. We had those check-ins, we had videos, we had tasks to do. So it's like you're taking a course where you are forced to do the work. Whereas, you have a to-do list and it's kind of low on your priority list. You never really get to it because you're like, I'll get to that later. This was like, I'm in a class and I'm with other creators, so I have to get this done. And for me, having that structure really pushed me along. And if I hadn't had that structure, like if it was a course that I could have just done whenever, I would have never done it.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good point because, and I always see this too for people that join and they make that commitment, right? They invest in themselves, and that act of doing that, like the process, what they say, the transformation is in the transaction. Making that commitment to yourself, you're like, I'm investing in myself. I'm spending this amount of money, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna just like waste it, right? And I think that commitment to yourself forces people to prioritize their YouTube channel. And I think for you, being such a busy business owner and not having seen the results that you were seeing, it's like it's easy to put it on the back burner. But doing that and putting it on the back burner is going to continue to give you the same results that you were seeing, which is not going anywhere.
And the other thing that was really great about it is that you laid out the framework for me where every week I was working on my channel, and now I do one video every week. So it kind of like set the groundwork for like, I need to focus on this and get my video out every week. And I've continued to do that since the bootcamp ended, and that was over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to get to the place where I can do 2 videos a week. Sometimes I do if I have a sponsored video that goes out, but like that's really all that I can handle is 1 video a week. But it really set the framework, and it got me thinking like, what am I doing this week? And I plan ahead of time, I'll try to do like shoot the videos in advance, but all of that hard work of editing and getting it out there, like every week I make the time, and it's a habit now, and it wasn't before.
Yeah, that's a really good point because you prioritize your channel and you say, well, okay, every week I want to make sure I'm applying the lessons, I'm doing this. It just became that habit of doing 1 video a week. I didn't realize you only did 1 video a week, and that's incredible. So you've grown to almost at 70,000?
Yeah, 70,000. And it was really, really quick. Like right in the middle of your boot camp, I got monetized.
Mm-hmm. And I remember you posted that.
I was like, what? This is working. I got monetized. And then you start seeing that ad revenue coming in. And that's a really big motivator, because you know that at least if you're not going to get that brand deal that maybe you had your eye on, at least you're going to have that constant stream of ad revenue. And my channel just really, really took off during the boot camp. So, and I think it's just because I really put the intention into it, and I really understood what I was doing and why I was doing it. And I knew, like, I felt really confident. Like, you gave me confidence and the tools to make it happen. And I was like, I gave myself a goal. I said, if I don't reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to do it anymore. I've been doing this for 5 years, like not really, well, that was back then. I was doing it for like 3 or 4 years, and I was not really serious about it. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to get serious, I'm going to get serious. And if I can hit 10K, I'm going to keep it up. And I'm at 70K, and it's really exciting to just see the growth.
Yeah, and it's so true. There's so many people that will join the boot camp, and it's like a last ditch effort, or they're like, you know what? I'm going to go through this. I'm going to give myself this goal. And if I don't hit this amount, or if I don't do this by this date, I'm out. And I think because a lot of people experience that of just putting so much effort into it and not seeing the results. And it's not like, oh, people aren't working hard. People are working hard.
So hard. People don't know. It's so funny. People are like, oh, maybe I'll create a YouTube channel. I'm like, okay, good luck. It's so hard. I love it. It is a labor of love, but it is so hard.
I say that all the time. I'm like, YouTube is hard. And I know, in like the marketing world and all the YouTube things, like, oh yeah, it's blah, 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 do this and that. I'm like, it is so hard, and it's not for the faint of heart. However, it is simple. I always say YouTube is hard, but it's simple once you really understand what you're doing.
If you make it look simple, then you're doing it right, but everybody knows that it's hard. Like all the content creators know how hard it is.
It's
but if
so hard.
You gotta make it look easy. And now though, there's like the pressure. People are like, like I went through last week, my microphone external jack broke, and I had to get a new camera. And I think, people go through that and they're like, where's your video? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm never going to tell anyone that. But the things you go through when like your microphone stops working, or, you have some hardware issue, or there's all these little things that, because I do everything myself, everything I do, all of the filming, the editing, and all of the posting. Like I don't have a team. So, and I'm running my agency. So I think that even like if people have others helping them, it's easier to do that. But since I'm doing it all myself, I feel a lot of pressure, but it's also fun because they're like, when's your episode coming out, or when's your tutorial coming out? So when you're making it, you're not making it for yourself, you're making it for someone else to help them. And that's what really motivates me, and it becomes more fun. And then I feel rewarded when I put out the content. I get flood of comments from people that are so happy to have the new tutorial, or, then I start conversations amongst the community, and it's just really exciting to see that there's just a really big audience for the type of content I create.
And I love your Facebook group, because I know you created, when did you create the Facebook group?
I believe that I created that. I think I created that like in January of this year. Gosh, I can't believe it's already September this year.
I know.
Odd one. I think I created that group because what was happening was I had this video that took off that was all about microcurrent and which device is best. And I reviewed like 4 of the top devices, and there were so many comments happening in the comment section. And it's really not conducive to conversations. Like, people will comment, and it wasn't fostering that community. So I took the conversation off of YouTube, put it on Facebook in a private area where people could feel safe and they could feel comfortable and they wouldn't be judged, and it wasn't public, because women are putting photos of their face, like before and after, with like no makeup, close up. And, like, if I'll post something on TikTok, which is public, I get slammed. Like, people are so mean on that platform. So I saw that happening. And I'm like, I want to make like a safe community. And it really took off. And now there's like 3,300 people in there. So it's a smaller subset of the 70,000 subscribers. But it's the people that really want to have the conversations about what devices are you using, what skincare are you using. And people will communicate with each other about their feedback, post photos. And I did that really because I saw a need. And now it's a place where I'll host giveaways, I'll host live videos, I'll host all kinds of fun stuff in there. And it's an extra value add. If there's a brand that wants to work with me, I can offer them a placement in that group.
In the group. Yeah. I love your Facebook group. I mean, I think it's great. And I noticed when you started it, and I thought that was so smart, because you're really, like you said, you're really fostering this community and just further creating that relationship with your true fans. We always talk about our true fans inside the bootcamp. And I was like, this is so smart, because it's very specific. It's like, it's a microcurrent device beauty Facebook group. So it's very niche. And it's great. People are in there chatting, and you're the leader in there. I mean, Facebook groups are great. I have a Facebook group. I love Facebook groups. And it's just a great additional way to foster that community that you're building through your YouTube.
And it helps me plan my content as well. So I'll do polls, and I'll be like, what do you guys want to see next? Like, what device should I do? And so they feel like they're part of the process. And also, I recently changed, like 2 weeks ago, I changed my group from microcurrent to beauty devices. And I polled the community, and I said, it sounds like people in this group are into all of the devices, like LED, laser, radio frequency. Should I change it? And everybody was so excited. They were like, yes. So as soon as I changed it, I got a flood of new members. I got a flood of new comments, and I think it was the right move. And I feel like I'm moving into a broader niche around like all beauty devices, because during the pandemic, people can't get in to get their cosmetic treatments like the Botox filler, and they're finding really great results with these devices at home. And my channel is about no Botox, no filler, all devices, just because I wanted to give an alternative and give reviews of all these products and show how they'll work on your face if you don't have any of those injectables. And I know that injectables are really popular, but my channel became so popular because people couldn't get them anymore. So it was really good timing, and it's like you are free to talk about any of that in the group. Like, there's no judgment, and it's just a really fun place. And now that it's all about beauty devices, I've got content coming out that I was just editing this morning. I got up really early to do a radio frequency device. It's going to be going live later today. So
that's awesome. I love that. That's so great. So do you remember, like, what was your biggest breakthrough that you had when you were going through the bootcamp?
My biggest breakthrough, I think my biggest breakthrough was that I was going to become the microcurrent person. I really wanted to do skincare. I really did. Like, I really wanted to do skincare over 40. And there are a lot of people in my group that are in their 30s, and they're looking to the content that's aspirational. So you don't have to be a certain age. But I really wanted to do skincare review, and I love those kind of videos. But I was finding that when I did the device review videos, those were the ones that were taking off. And so now, I mean, I'm still testing. Well, like I'll do skincare videos. They never perform as well. So if I can integrate a skincare product into a video where I also talk about a device, I know it's going to do better. So it was like an aha moment where I'm like, wow, I'm going to be the device channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the device channel of a regular person. There's lots of channels out there from dermatologists and estheticians and people that work in the industry. And their take is a little bit different because they're standing over a client and they're working the devices on their face in a different way than you would be at home on yourself. And that's where this all came from. The companies were reaching out to me saying, we'd love for you to make a video because we want to see your take of somebody who's not an esthetician.
Like a consumer
showing other consumers. So I'm like your friend that I'm going to show you how to do microcurrent. And that's really was my aha moment. I'm like, this is my niche. Like this is my community. These are my people. And it was hard for me because I didn't really want to go that way, but you kind of have to go the way that the data is taking you.
Yeah. And it's sometimes, and it's so funny because I interviewed somebody else who went through the boot camp and she said the same thing. She's like, sometimes you kind of have to get out of your own way and not be stubborn because you might want one thing, but the audience is telling you something different. And there is that balance. There's that balance between doing what you really love and also, like you said, going where the data takes you.
Yeah. So now I'm so excited. I have so many devices now that I have to test and make content for. And it's hard because you have to test these devices for a long period of time before you can make the video. So it's time consuming, but it's changed up my content creation schedule, but I really love it. And I think it's such an exciting time because we have all of these at-home FDA cleared devices that we never had before. So I'm happy to be the guinea pig and like show everybody how they work.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so what would you say helped you most inside of the boot camp?
What helped me most inside of the boot camp was really two things. Knowing that I had to come up with my niche so that I could serve my true fan, like that. And then number two is understanding the YouTube algorithm. Like I didn't understand that like I needed to be putting out content that YouTube would understand and be able to serve up to the right people. And most people are finding my content through search. That's why it's really important for me to optimize my content and my thumbnail for like thinking about those people. And so like me learning about how that all works was a really big aha moment for me because I didn't really know that before. And I know the YouTube algorithm changes over time, just like all, like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, all those algorithms change. And like you were the one that knew what was happening now for them and could teach us that. And I think that was like the key to like, you need to give it what it wants, right? You need to feed YouTube what it wants. And like me, like understanding that really, really helped me frame the type of content that I'm going to put out.
Yeah, it's great. You're right, because it does change all the time, and it's kind of like you've got to go with it. You've got to go with it and understand it. And I remember you. I remember you popping into a few of the calls, asking questions, and then you went with it. You took it. I could tell you were doing the work, and then next thing you know, you're like, I just got monetized, and then
I feel like once you hit that momentum and you take off, it's really fast.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you gotta keep going. If you really feel passionate about it, you just gotta keep going, get the right tools, and eventually it'll happen.
Yep. Yeah, I always say that, when in the bootcamp, you have to be prepared to go viral because you're doing everything, you're setting everything up. And that's the goal with my students, is basically to set everything up for them so that does happen. And the chances of that happening is higher, because that's how you succeed on YouTube. That's how people get to 100,000, 500,000 is they have different videos that are going viral. That's the only way to make it on YouTube.
And you're consistent, you have to be consistent for your audience and for the algorithm. And, you just have to make it a priority. And I was up until 1 a.m. filming last night, and I'm not happy about it, but I have to get it done.
Yeah.
It's a lot of coffee this morning. It's hard, but people out there who have kids and jobs and, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying like, it's, you got to make it a priority. Just got to get it done no matter what.
You, me both. I was up to 1 a.m. too, Trina.
Like not what I would like, but
I was editing. I was up there. I was doing my thing. Yep. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people. Some people are early people. Some people are late people. I'm a late person.
Night owl. Like I could work till 4 in the morning, but then my whole workday is ruined the next day. So I have to force myself to go to bed.
Me too. I know. You gotta figure out how to make it work. So when your channel took off, what did that look like for you? Like, and what changed as a result?
When my channel took off, what I really noticed was I was getting flooded with brand deals. I was getting flooded with outreach from brands, from skincare, from beauty devices and beauty tools. And it's an exciting time, but it can be very overwhelming because you have to become more discerning. Because if you just say yes to everything and you let the product coming in drive your content calendar, then you'll lose sight of what you're doing. And like that was hard for me because I'd be like, yes, I really want that. Then I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. And so you have to be honest with yourself and you have to be honest with the brands. And some of the brands don't take it so nicely. Like I'll get random requests, like we'd like to send you this, like a food item. And I'm like, thank you so much. Like as much as that sounds delicious, like I can't create a food post because it's not going to work well with the YouTube algorithm. It's going to fall flat. It's not going to get the views. And then they're like, well, we don't understand, like, and like, sometimes you're like fighting with these brands. And I'm like, well, that would be just great to have a manager like deal with that sometimes because, like you get an influx of all of these brands coming in that want to work with you. And I'll say like, YouTube might not be the right place. Perhaps I could do an Instagram post for you. And that's not what they want. And I'm like, well, I know that would resonate with my Instagram community. It's a different demographic. And so that was really the thing that changed for me the most is just the influx. And even to this day, I mean, I get like, I get like 3 packages a day, like every day, like of just product, and they get your address and they just send it. So it's like piling up. And then, you have to just figure out like, what am I going to use from all of this content to create what is going to work for my channel, what's going to work for the algorithm, that's going to work for me personally, instead of just making a video about everything. So that's really hard.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard, but it's also, it's a good opportunity too, because like you said, you can diversify your YouTube income and do these brand deals now too.
Yeah, absolutely. The brand deals have, I just signed Estee Lauder actually this week to relaunch their advanced night recovery serum, which is just really huge for me because I used to use that like, who didn't use that serum like 20, 30 years ago? That's just a really exciting collaboration for me. And because my subscriber base has grown, I'm able to charge higher rates, and then I can, work a little bit less. And so like, that's the goal, is just to, show my value, charge my rates, like align my rates with what I'm able to deliver to a brand and really just work smarter and not harder. Like that's my goal, is to get into that mindset of just taking on more of the right deals that make sense for me, that are going to allow me to work less.
I think that's fantastic, and congratulations on that Estee Lauder deal. That's so exciting. So how has the success of your channel, because like you said, what you started off with is like you kind of work in the industry in the sense of you work with influencers, you work with brands. So how has the success of your channel now the fact that your channel is at 70,000 subscribers is actually a thing, it's not this little hobby that you're doing with 5,000 subscribers, how is that now come into play with the business that you do?
So it's so funny you asked that question. I have been so surprised at the shift that's happened. Like I've had my agency for almost 10 years now. And when I started my YouTube channel, I never talked about it. I didn't think that I should bring it up. It was separate. And, now it becomes part of pitch meetings. It becomes part of just regular meetings where if there's like a giveaway going on or we have something launching, my clients will be like, well, Trina, you're going to post that on your Instagram, right? Are you going to do a YouTube video? And it's like in front of my whole team. And it's funny. Like I love it. But there were 2 separate worlds that have come together. And I just had a pitch meeting this week, actually, where part of the contract will be me creating content on my YouTube channel to help the brand launch, and then leveraging my relationships with other YouTubers to get the products into their hands and to help get that ball rolling. And it's become like this one big ecosystem that feeds into each other, which I would have never, ever envisioned. And it's really fun. And I used to be kind of embarrassed about it. Like, oh, you can see me on YouTube. And now I'm so over it. I'm so over it. I don't care. Like, I don't care being on camera anymore. The lights don't bother me. Like, none of that bothers me anymore. And I used to be shy about it, and I'm not shy about it anymore because it's helping me grow and it's making me money.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. I mean, yeah, what is there to be shy on? You're at like 70,000 subscribers. It's like, yeah, tell everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I think that for so long I just wanted to keep it separate because it felt like it didn't make sense, but it just makes so much sense, especially now. We're all home, most of us, like stuck at home, and we're all relying on video content. And I have been hired during the pandemic by so many brands to create ad content at home. And I'll tell them, like, I'll go set it up in my studio and like make it all professional. They're like, no, we just want you to use your phone. And we just want you to go shoot some video and then send us the footage. And then I'm getting paid to create that because they want it to feel realistic. Like, knows that the studios have been closed. And so they want people to connect with other people at home showing how they're using certain products. And so that's been a really big revenue driver for me. But the only way that these brands found me is because my YouTube channel has grown so much.
I was going to ask you, is that from your YouTube channel because of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really like my YouTube channel has grown the most. My Instagram is kind of flat. My TikTok has really taken off during the pandemic. So it's really TikTok and YouTube that has put me out there where I'm finding a lot more deals. But sometimes the brands want me to post on Instagram, on Reels or IGTV or just the feed for whatever reason. But having, reached these big subscriber counts, it really puts you on the radar of a lot of brands and different agencies. And there's a lot of outreach that's happening. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm spending like half my time creating content because, the brands really, like, everyone needs content. And I'm so happy to create the content.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. You've really aligned both your business with the Magenta agency and now you as a content creator. And it just synergistically works so well together.
I would have never predicted it. And it's just, that's why you kind of just have to go with it, right? Like, I'm going with it, and it's just, video content is just what everybody wants right now. And I'm being hired by some of our clients just to create like video footage for Amazon, like that's not even on my channel. And I get these requests a lot. And again, it's about picking the right ones at the right price point that's going to be aligned with my vision for my growth. So it's just about working smarter because there's just a lot of opportunity that's out there. So
yeah.
These are paths for content creators. If they're watching this, like, it's not just for your channel. It can be for Amazon. It can be for advertising for brands on Instagram, anywhere. Like, everybody wants video.
But do you think you would have gotten these opportunities if you were still at 5,000 YouTube subscribers?
There's no way, because nobody would know who I am. Potentially if I was like out pitching or like I had hired somebody to pitch for me. I mean, this is just like, it's just coming at me and it's up to me to manage it. So yeah, I mean, that really, like, through your boot camp and seeing the acceleration of my channel has taken me to where I am now, where it's become a big revenue driver for me.
That's awesome. That's what I always say. It's like growing a YouTube channel is not just about being a YouTube star. Like that's great, but you can leverage that audience, and you can also, like you said, it's almost as if you being out there and just having more exposure, people see you, they see your work, they see what you're doing, and they're like, oh well, let's hire her to create video here and create video there, because they're able to see you from your YouTube channel. It's like a portfolio of work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I have a really nice media kit that I put together that highlights some of the successes and case studies and all my metrics, and that really helps as well. It really helps to have a media kit on hand that you can just send off with your rates to show that you've worked with some really, notable brands, and then you put your rates out there. And if somebody's not willing to pay even your minimum rates, then, it's good to walk away. It's good to just have that nice packaged media kit to send their way. And a lot of brands still expect things for free, like in exchange for product, and where that might make sense in some cases, for a lot of us, this is our job. And so that really helped to weed out a lot of brands that weren't a right fit for me.
Definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. So if somebody is watching this or listening and they thinking about signing up for the bootcamp, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, go for it, but only go for it if you're really serious. don't do it like you're going to sign up for the gym and never go because you're going to be so frustrated. I think like there has to be the right time. And now is such a good time because, you know, everything's still so up in the air and a lot of people are on lockdown and not being able to travel. I think like if you want to make the commitment in yourself and you want to make the commitment in your schedule and you feel like you're dedicated enough to make it happen, I would say, I mean, it's the best thing that I did. I would not be here on the podcast talking to you right now if I hadn't taken your boot camp. And for me, I consider myself to be savvy and smart. You know, I run a digital marketing agency. So I was like, well, I shouldn't need to take this course. I should just be able to figure it out. Well, guess what? I wasn't, because I wasn't doing it. And by doing the boot camp, it gives you the structure, it gives you the community, it gives you the motivation, and it forced me to do it. So if you're that kind of person that's like, you know, you're smart, like, of course you're smart. If you're on YouTube, of course you're smart, but you need the structure to take you to the next level. I would say go for it. You will learn something. Like, I can guarantee that you will learn something that will help you. So it's going to be a good investment.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Trina, for coming on and sharing your experience. And for people listening or watching, where can they find you?
Good question. So my YouTube channel is called Beauty Beyond 40. That's where I post a weekly video. And then on Instagram, it's just my name, Trina Albus. I'm also on TikTok, unless it gets banned. And then my agency is magentaagency.com if you want to go check that out. But that's basically all the places that I am. And also I have that private Facebook community. It's called Beauty Beyond 40 Beauty Devices, but I have it linked in every single YouTube video that I put out, so you can always just click through to find it there. If you're interested in beauty devices, it's a great place to be, and I have all like the promo codes in there if you want to shop and buy all these devices at a discount, because it's very expensive when you start to add in all of these devices. So I always want to help people and help them save money.
I love it. I love your channel. I mean, I love where you took your channel. And for me, it's such an honor to have my boot campers here on the podcast. That's always my goal, is to just be able to basically, you know, foster this community of creators and then showcase them on the podcast. So thank you so, so much, Trina, for being here and sharing your story.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for being such a great instructor.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Trina. Bye.
Bye.